Study p-type extrinsic semiconductors. See, p-type extrinsic semiconductors can be obtained by adding trivalent impurities like boron, indium, aluminum, etc. So, by adding trivalent impurity atoms to a pure semiconductor, we can produce or we can obtain the p-type semiconductor. Okay. See, let us see the bond model of p-type semiconductor. See, suppose this is aluminum atom, the impurity atom, aluminum atom. See, the amount of impurity atoms are very, very less compared to the number of pure semiconductor atoms. So, the doping is done in a controlled manner. See, about for 5000 pure semiconductor atoms, only one impure atom is added. So, therefore, the doping is done in a very controlled manner. Okay. See, this is a bond model of a p-type semiconductor. See, these are the covalent bonds between the atoms. See, these are the covalent bonds, and this is a pure semiconductor, germanium or silicon. You can take silicon also, germanium or silicon. Okay. See, the number of impurity atoms are very, very less, and hence the crystal structure remains same, which is unaltered. Okay. See, these are the covalent bonds. See, this trivalent impurity atoms has 4 valence electrons in their outermost orbit. See, the impurity atoms like aluminum, boron, indium, etc. All these impurity atoms, trivalent impurity atoms, have 3 valence electrons in their outermost orbit. Okay. See, all these 3 valence electrons, form covalent bond with the 3 valence electrons of germanium atoms. Okay. But the one space is left behind. This space is called the vacant. See, this space is called the vacant. A vacant site appears, or a vacant is donated by each aluminum atom. So, each and every impure atoms gives one vacant site to the host crystal. Okay. See, this vacant site filled by an electron in the nearest germanium atom. So, this aluminum atom, the impurity atom, accepts an electron from the nearest germanium atom, so that it gets filled. See, suppose this electron move from here to here, and this vacant is filled by this electron, and this vacant is called the hole. This is called the hole. Okay. And due to the motion of these electrons, from this to here to here, again here the vacant is created. Like this, so many holes are created in p-type semiconductor. Okay. So, and hence the majority charge carriers are holes in p-type semiconductor. See, these holes create an extra energy level just above the valence band of the semiconductor. See, the band model of the p-type semiconductor. See, this is the valence band, this is valence band, this is conduction band, this is conduction band, this is energy level of vacant sites. See, these vacant sites form an energy level. This energy level, the vacant sites accept electrons from the valence band. So, therefore, this energy level is called acceptor energy level. See, acceptor energy level. Okay. So, electrons can move from valence band to the acceptor energy level and fills the vacant sites there. Okay. And they leave the vacants or holes in the valence band. Okay. See, therefore, the number of holes in the valence band increases, and hence the majority charge carriers in p-type semiconductor are holes and the minority charge carriers are electrons. Okay. See, there is a small energy gap between the acceptor energy level and the valence band. Okay. See, when the external electric field is applied, these electrons can be moved from the acceptor energy level to conduction band easily. Okay. Therefore, the conduction takes place easily. Okay. See, let us suppose Na be the number of acceptor atoms or electrons per unit volume. Ne be the number of electrons in conduction band. Nh be the number of holes in valence band. See, Ne can also be known as the concentration of electrons and Nh concentration of holes. See, in case of p-type semiconductors, the number of holes much greater than number of electrons. Okay. And hence, the majority charge carriers in p-type are holes and minority charge carriers are electrons. See, it can be shown that this Ne into Nh is equal to Ni square, where Ni intrinsic charge carriers. Okay. See, this is about the p-type semiconductors. So far, we have studied two types of extrinsic semiconductors. See, N-type semiconductors and p-type semiconductors. See, in case of p-type semiconductors, the majority charge carriers are holes and minority charge carriers are electrons. See, let us study the differences between extrinsic semiconductors and intrinsic semiconductors. See the differences between extrinsic semiconductors and intrinsic semiconductors. Say let us draw a table of intrinsic and extrinsic semiconductors. Intrinsic semiconductors. And this is extrinsic semiconductors. say intrinsic semiconductors or pure semiconductors. See, what are intrinsic semiconductors? See, the intrinsic semiconductors are pure semiconductors. See, whereas extrinsic semiconductors are impure semiconductors. See, these are impure semiconductors. Impure semiconductors. See here, no doping done in case of intrinsic semiconductors. No doping used. No dopant. No dopant used. Here dopants are used. Here dopants are used. See, one more. See, in case of intrinsic semiconductors, the number of electrons and number of holes are equal. So, see, number of electrons, that is electron concentration equal to the hole concentration. Whereas in case of extrinsic semiconductors, the number of electrons and the holes are not equal. See, the number of electrons and the number of holes are not equal to each other. Okay. See, in case of extrinsic semiconductors, we have the two types of extrinsic semiconductors, N-type semiconductor and P-type semiconductor. In case of N-type semiconductor, the majority charge carriers are electrons and the minority charge carriers are holes. But in case of P-type semiconductor, the majority charge carriers are holes and the minority charge carriers are electrons. Okay. So, these are the main differences between intrinsic semiconductors and extrinsic semiconductors. Let us study the differences between the P-type semiconductors and N-type semiconductors. So, let us study the differences between N-type semiconductors and P-type semiconductors. See, suppose this is N-type semiconductor and this is a P-type semiconductor. See, how to obtain N-type semiconductor? See, N-type semiconductors can be obtained by adding pentavalent impurities like arsenic, antimony, phosphorus, etc. See, pentavalent impurities. So, the impurity atoms are pentavalent impurities like arsenic, antimony, phosphorus, etc. See, these are pentavalent impurities. Okay. See, in case of P-type semiconductors, see, P-type semiconductors can be obtained by adding trivalent impurities. See, by adding trivalent impurities like aluminum, boron, etc. Okay. See, these are trivalent impurity atoms. So, by adding trivalent impurity atoms, we can obtain the P-type semiconductor. Okay. See, next one, the majority charge carriers in N-type semiconductors are electrons. See, what are the majority charge carriers? See, majority charge carriers are electrons. Here in P-type, the majority charge carriers are holes. See, majority charge carriers are holes. Okay. So, here N-type, the minority charge carriers are holes. See, here in P-type, the minority charge carriers are electrons. See, because of pentavalent impurity atoms, we have a free electron for one impurity atom. See, these electrons form an extra energy level between the valence band and the conduction band. Okay. This energy level is called the donor energy level. See, this donor energy level formed just below the conduction band. Okay. See, these donor energy levels donate free electrons to the crystal. So, and hence the name the donor energy level. Okay. See, in the case of p-type semiconductor, the every trivalent impurity atoms donate a hole to the host crystal. Okay. These holes form an energy level above the valence band. These energy levels are called acceptor energy levels. See here, acceptor energy level formed just above the valence band. See, these acceptor energy level, the vacant site in the acceptor energy level accepts the electrons from the valence band, and hence the name the acceptor energy level. See, these are the differences between p-type and n-type semiconductors. Okay. See, next we move on to the formation of p-n junction. Let us study the formation of p-n junction. Let us study the formation of p-n junction. See how a p-n junction is formed and how it behaves under the influence of external electric field. Okay. See, let us consider a p-type material. See, this is, suppose this is a p-type material. The part of this p-type material is doped with a pentavalent impurity. See, this is p-type material. The p-type material is doped with pentavalent impurity atoms. When the pentavalent impurity atoms are added, an n-type material is formed at one side. Okay. See, now the majority charge carriers in p-type are holes. Okay. And the majority charge carriers in n-type are electrons. See, due to the concentration gradient of electrons and holes, the electrons in n side diffuses to p side. See, the electrons in n side diffuses to p side. Similarly, the holes in p side diffuses to n side. See here, the hole diffusion. See, this is hole diffusion, and this is here, this is electron diffusion. Okay. See, here the electrons diffuses from n side to p side. Here the holes diffuses from p side to n side. Okay. See, due to this diffusion of electrons and holes, a current setup. This current is called the diffusion current. See, this current is called the diffusion current. Okay. See, when an electron diffuses from n side to p side, see, an electron diffuses from n side to p side. Okay. This left behind a vacant in the n-type material. This vacant acts as a positive charge, an immobile positive ion. See, similarly, in case of p-type, when a hole diffuses from p-type to n-type, see, the holes diffuses from, when a hole diffuses from p-type to n-type, this also left an ionized, a negatively charged particle. See, a negative ion is left behind here. Here, a positive ion is left behind here. Okay. These immobile ions form a layer of positive charge and negative charge on either side of p-n junction. Okay, see, on either side of p type and n type material. See, this is the layer of positive charge, the immobile ions deposited on n side. See, these are the negative ions, immobile ions deposited on the p side. Okay. See, these are the positive immobile ions deposited on the n side, and these are the negative immobile ions deposited on the p side. Okay. See, due to this deposition of immobile ions, a layer is formed between p type and n type material. This layer is called the depletion layer. See, this layer is called the depletion layer. See, the depletion layer means it is depleted from the mobile charge carriers. That's why the name the depletion layer. See, the width of the depletion layer is about 1/10 the micrometer, 1/10 of a micrometer. It is 1/10 of a micrometer. Okay. See, let us study semiconductor diode. See, what is a semiconductor diode? See, semiconductor diode is a p-n junction diode provided with metallic contacts. See the semiconductor diode. See, this is a semiconductor diode or a p-n junction diode. See, this is p-type material and this is n-type material. See, these are the positive ions, these are the negative ions. See, this is one terminal of the diode and this is second terminal of the diode. Okay. See, this is called a semiconductor diode. See, semiconductor diode has two legs. One is p-type, the another one is n-type. Okay. See, a semiconductor diode can be symbolically represented like this. This is the symbol of a semiconductor diode. This is positive terminal and this is negative terminal. So, therefore, a semiconductor diode is nothing but a p-n junction diode provided with metallic contacts. Okay. See, semiconductor diode can be applied a potential difference across the diode. See, the process of applying a potential difference across the diode is called biasing of the diode. See, we can bias the semiconductor diode in two ways. See, the forward bias and reverse bias. See, let us first consider the forward biasing of p-n junction diode or a semiconductor diode. See, forward bias. See, p-n junction diode under forward bias or semiconductor diode under forward bias. See, semiconductor diode under forward bias. Okay. See, what is meant by forward bias? See, what is meant by forward bias? So, let us consider a semiconductor diode. See, this is a semiconductor diode. This is p-type material and this is n-type material. Okay. See, this is p-type material and this is n-type material. See, these are the positive immobile ions and these are the negative immobile ions. Okay. See, now p-type connected to positive terminal of the battery and n-type connected to negative terminal of the battery. Okay. See, what is forward bias? See, a semiconductor diode is said to be forward bias when p-type connected to positive terminal of the battery and n-type connected to negative terminal of the battery. See, this is positive terminal and this is negative terminal, this is battery. So, now the p-n junction diode is in forward bias. See, when the p-n junction diode is in forward bias, okay, when the PN junction diode is in forward bias, the width of the depletion region, see this is the width of the depletion region, the width of the depletion region decreases, see the width of the depletion region decreases and the height of the potential barrier decreases. See, suppose this is the initial potential barrier, this is V naught be the initial potential barrier where no potential difference applied across the PN junction diode. When a small potential difference is applied across the PN junction diode, the height of the potential barrier decreases. When the potential difference applied across the PN junction diode is significantly large, then the height of the potential barrier decreases again. Okay. So, therefore, when the PN junction diode is forward biased, the width of the depletion region decreases and the height of the potential barrier decreases. See, when the width of the depletion layer decreases and the height of the potential barrier decreases, the majority charge carrier, see in case of the N type, the majority charge carriers are electrons and minority charge carriers are holes. See, in case of P type, the majority charge carriers are holes and the minority charge carriers are electrons. See, when the PN junction diode is under forward bias, the majority charge carriers, that is electrons, move from N type to P type. Similarly, the holes in P type move from P type to N type. See, this constitutes a current in the PN junction diode. This current is called the forward current or diffusion current. This is due to the current, the forward current is due to the diffusion of electrons and holes from the N type to P type and from P type to N type respectively. So, this current is called the diffusion current, and this process is called the minority carrier injection. When the diode is under forward bias, the electrons moves from N type to P type and the holes moves from P type to N type, and these electrons move from the junction barrier to the other side of the N type, and similarly the holes move from the junction barrier to the end of the P side. See, this motion of charge carriers constitute a current in the semiconductor diode. Okay. So, therefore, the semiconductor diode under forward bias conducts current. Okay. See, now let us consider a semiconductor diode under reverse bias. Now, let us study semiconductor diode under reverse bias. See, what is meant by reverse bias? See, consider now a semiconductor diode. See, this is a PN junction diode or a semiconductor diode. See, this is depletion region, this is P type material and this is N type material. Okay. See, now P type connected to negative terminal of the battery and N type connected to positive terminal of the battery. See, this is negative terminal, this is positive terminal of the battery. See, a PN junction diode or a semiconductor diode is said to be under reverse bias when the P type connected to negative terminal of the battery and N type connected to positive terminal of the battery. See, now what happens when the P type connected to negative terminal and N type connected to positive terminal of the battery increases. Okay. And the width of the depletion region increases and the height of the potential barrier increases. We can draw the potential barrier like this. See, this is the initial height of the potential barrier V naught. When the external voltage, the reverse voltage is applied across the PN junction diode, the height of the potential barrier increases. See, this is the initial potential height of the potential barrier. This is final potential barrier when the reverse voltage is applied across the PN junction diode. Okay. So now no charge carriers, no majority charge carriers can cross the junction barrier. Since the height of the barrier increases due to the reverse bias of PN junction diode, no charge carriers flows from one region to another region. So therefore, the diffusion current enormously decreases. Okay. See, when the potential difference, the reverse potential increases again, a small current flows through the circuit or the diode. See, this small current flows through the diode is due to the motion of the minority charge carriers in P type and in N type. So, due to the minority charge carriers, a small current flows through the diode. This current is called the reverse saturation current. So, therefore, a semiconductor diode under reverse bias cannot conduct the electric current, whereas the semiconductor diode under forward bias can conduct. So, see, this is about the semiconductor diode under forward bias and in reverse bias. See, let us consider the voltage versus the current characteristics of a semiconductor diode. See, the VI characteristics of a semiconductor diode. VI characteristics of a semiconductor diode. V means the voltage and I means the current. Okay. See, let us consider the circuit diagram for studying the VI characteristics of a semiconductor diode. See, this is a voltmeter connected parallel to a semiconductor diode. See, this is diode. Okay. See, this diode is connected to battery. See, this is a forward bias PN junction diode. Therefore, P type connected to positive terminal of the battery and N type connected to negative terminal through a plug key and a ammeter. See, this is a milliammeter. Okay. This is plug key. This is positive, negative terminal. This is battery. This is the diode D. Okay. So, this is the simple circuit diagram for studying the PN junction diode under forward bias, the VI characteristics of a PN junction diode. See, consider one more circuit diagram, that is PN junction diode under reverse bias. See, this is a voltmeter and this is the diode. The voltmeter connected parallel to the diode. See, now the diode is under reverse bias. The P type connected to negative terminal of the battery and N type connected to positive terminal of the battery through a plug key and a microammeter. See, this is microammeter. You can notice here that, see, in case of the forward bias, milliammeter is used, whereas in case of reverse bias, microammeter is used. So, therefore, a very small current flows through the diode due to the motion of minority charge carriers, and hence a microammeter is used in reverse bias mode. Okay. So, we can draw a graph of the current versus voltage. See, this is the current I in milliampere and V in volt. V in volt, this is the origin. See, this is 0.2 volt, 0.4 volt, this is 0.6 volt, etc. Okay. See, when the forward voltage increases, the current through the diode increases. Okay. When the forward voltage reaches a certain voltage known as cut-in voltage. See, this is the cut-in voltage at which a large current flows through the diode. Called the, this voltage is called the cut-in voltage. This is called, see, this voltage is called, see, cut-in voltage, at which a large current flows through the forward biased PN junction diode. The voltage is called the cut-in voltage. See, this is the forward characteristics of a PN junction diode. See, in reverse bias, see, under reverse bias, when the reverse voltage increases, current slowly increases and increases suddenly. The current increases suddenly for a particular reverse voltage. This voltage is called the breakdown voltage. See, suppose this is 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, etc. in volt, reverse volt. See, these are the 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 milliampere. See, as the reverse voltage increases slowly, the reverse current also increases slowly, and the reverse current become maximum when the reverse voltage reaches certain voltage known as the breakdown voltage. So, at breakdown voltage, a large reverse current flows through the diode. So, this is the reverse characteristics of a PN junction diode.